Everyone ignored the CEO's deaf mom at the airport until a single dad spoke to her. Through signs she stood completely alone in one of the busiest airports in America, surrounded by thousands of people, and yet she was invisible to every single one of them. An elderly woman, confused eyes scanning a departure board she couldn't hear announced. Hands trembling slightly, as she clutched a boarding pass that had the wrong gate printed on it. And not one person stopped, not one person asked if she was okay. In a place full of rushing strangers, she had somehow become completely, heartbreakingly alone. Before we get into this story, if you believe that one small act of kindness can change everything, hit that subscribe button right now, and join our family here at Heartfelt Moments. We share true stories that remind you why humanity is still worth believing in. Like this video, drop a comment telling us about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness, and let's keep this community full of warmth. Now let's get back to Margaret. Her name was Margaret Chen. She was 74 years old, originally from San Francisco, and she had been deaf since she was 9 years old, after a severe fever stole her hearing almost overnight. For 65 years, she had navigated a hearing world with patience, grace, and an enormous amount of quiet courage that most people would never fully understand. What most people at Gate 47 in Chicago O'Hare International Airport that Tuesday morning didn't know, and honestly, wouldn't have cared about, was that Margaret was the mother of Daniel Chen. Daniel Chen, the founder and CEO of a tech company worth nearly $4 billion. A man who had been featured on magazine covers, celebrated at galas, and praised in boardrooms from New York to London. But none of that mattered right now, because Daniel was stuck in a security line on the other side of the airport with a dead phone battery, and his mother, his sweet, gentle, brilliant mother, was standing at the wrong gate, completely lost, with a flight that was boarding in 22 minutes. Margaret tried to get the attention of a gate agent. She tapped the desk gently. The woman behind the counter glanced up, noticed Margaret's hearing aids, and immediately looked back down at her computer screen, unsure how to communicate and unwilling to try. Margaret smiled softly, the way she always did when the world reminded her it wasn't built for her, and stepped away. She tried to show her boarding pass to a couple nearby, pointing at the gate number and then at the departure screen with a look of gentle confusion. The couple smiled politely, shrugged, and walked away. A businessman in an expensive suit stepped around her like she was a piece of luggage someone had left in the middle of the floor. 20 minutes now. Margaret sat down in a chair near the window, her boarding pass folded neatly in her lap, watching planes move slowly across the gray morning tarmac. There was an event. No panic in her face. Just a deep, quiet sadness that only comes from a lifetime of being overlooked. That's when Marcus saw her. Marcus Tate was 34 years old. A single dad from Memphis, Tennessee, traveling with his 7-year-old daughter Lily, who was bouncing beside him with a backpack shaped like a llama. Marcus worked 2 jobs, days at a logistics warehouse, evenings doing food delivery, and this trip to visit his sister in Phoenix was the first vacation he'd taken in 3 years. He had $40 in his wallet and a heart that had never learned how to look away from someone in need. He noticed the way Margaret's eyes kept drifting to the departures board. He noticed the folded boarding pass. And he noticed, because he actually looked, the small hearing aids sitting in her ears. Marcus had grown up with a deaf uncle. His mother had made sure all her kids learned basic American Sign Language when they were young. He hadn't used it much in years, but some things, once learned with love, don't leave you. He knelt down in front of Margaret, waited for her eyes to find his, and then slowly, carefully, his hands finding the old familiar shapes, he signed. "Are you lost? Can I help you?" Margaret's face changed completely. Her eyes went wide, then they filled with tears. In 65 years of navigating airports, train stations, busy streets, and loud indifferent public spaces, almost nobody had ever done that. Almost nobody had ever just met her where she was. She signed back quickly, explaining the gate confusion, the wrong number on her pass, the flight leaving soon. Marcus nodded, stood up, and with Lily skipping behind him, walked straight to the gate agent, a different one this time, and calmly explained the situation. He didn't make it a big deal. He didn't demand anything. He just advocated, quietly and firmly, for a woman who deserved to be heard. The agent corrected the gate information, printed a new pass, and even arranged for a cart to take Margaret to the right terminal. The whole thing took less than 8 minutes. Before Margaret boarded her cart, she turned back to Marcus. Her hands moved gracefully in the air between them, and this time, Lily tugged on her dad's sleeve. "What did she say, Daddy?" Marcus cleared his throat. His eyes were a little wet. She said that in all her years of traveling the world, that was the first time a stranger made her feel like she wasn't invisible. Lily thought about that for a moment. Then she waved goodbye to Margaret with both hands, big and enthusiastic, the way only a 7-year-old truly can. Margaret laughed, a bright, beautiful, soundless laugh, and waved back. What Marcus did that morning didn't cost him anything. He didn't have wealth or power or a platform. He had something rarer: the willingness to stop, to see someone fully, and to show up for them in the language they needed. Daniel Chen found out what happened when he finally reached his mother by video call that evening. He tracked Marcus down not to write a check or make a viral moment, but simply to say thank you, one human being to another. And Margaret? She made her flight. She arrived in Phoenix right on time. But more than that, for the first time in a long time, she arrived feeling seen. Never underestimate the power of a single kind act. You might not know what someone is carrying, but you can always choose to show up for them anyway. That choice, small as it seems, can mean everything. Spread kindness, it's always worth it.